Liver is the largest internal organ in the body. It's about 3 pounds, or as I like to say, it's about the size of a small Chihuahua, which is great as well. 500 functions, 500 vital functions. The actual functionality of the liver goes into the thousands. I mean, there's tens of thousands of enzymatic responses to things that it does, but 500 of which are vital. It is a master organ, which is pretty cool. It's a not very well-known organ. Most people don't really understand where it is or what it does. So most people, as I said, don't realize their liver is under threat until it's too late. Liver disease is up 400% in the last 50 years, and it's accelerating. So it's going up and up and up. And if you look at these are other major diseases, pretty much staying pari passu. We're starting to press them down, but liver disease is going up dramatically. And as I said, accelerating. So everybody knows where the liver is. I don't know if you know, but it's basically starts at the chest, and it comes all the way over. The bottom of the liver is the bottom of your rib cage, and the top of your liver is about where your nipple is. So your liver is actually here. And largest internal organ in the body. In Chinese medicine, we refer to it as the general of the body, and that is because it controls so many other organs. It is so biologically advanced that we cannot replicate it with technology. We can replicate hearts, lungs, kidneys, many other organs, but the liver cannot. And one of the reasons is because of its regenerative abilities. You can lose up to 90% of your liver, and it will come back. And everybody in this room right now, whether you're 5 years old, 85 years old, the average age of your liver is only 3. Every 3 years, we get a new liver. So we have a lot of people come to the clinic, and they're like, oh, I was really naughty in college, and I probably messed up my liver. I'm like, well, if that was 10 years ago, you're 3 livers ago. So it's constantly regenerating. And we need to learn about it. So my main mission is to make the liver famous, bring awareness to it. In doing so, take the hero on its journey. So the liver is central in regulation of vital functions across all organ systems. Liver disease contributes to cardiovascular disease, hormone imbalance, mental decline, cancer, and many other aspects of health. 38% of the Western world has fatty liver disease today. 95% of them do not know it. We'll get into diagnostics later. It's also disproportionate. 63% will be men, 1/3 will be women. It's kind of Alzheimer's is the opposite. 2/3 of Alzheimer's patients are women, 1/3 is men. Fatty liver disease is the opposite of that. Liver disease cases are projected to increase by 350 million in the next 7 years. On the planet today of 8 billion people, you have 5.5 billion adults, 2 billion of them have fatty liver disease. And it's accelerating in countries such as India, China. We had a phenomenon recently where babies have actually been born in India with fatty liver disease. That's how prevalent it is. There's a genetic propensity for South Asians, but then you take cheap calories, processed foods, the mother's taking it, it's going in vitro, baby's born with fatty liver. Fatty liver disease, silver lining though, is reversible. So that's the silver lining. It's kind of like type 2 diabetes as well. This is really interesting, and I'm kind of a big advocate of the cardiovascular disease risk. We've got a professor of cardiology in the back from University of California, Irvine. She shares my theory as well, so does some other ones, that more people will die of cardiovascular disease because of fatty liver than will die of liver disease because of fatty liver. Reason being is the 2 biggest causes of cardiovascular disease are metabolic syndrome and type 2 diabetes, both of which the foundation of that is fatty liver. So if you want to go, when we practice root cause medicine, I think everybody here practices preventative root cause medicine, is you've got to get to the very beginning. Obviously what we're taking into our body is very important, but also fatty liver is a great indicator of other things to come. These are the studies right now. There's 2.5 million people on this study. We are here going into 43%. 51% of the population will have fatty liver disease by 2035, and by 2040 it's 55.7. So as I said, it's climbing, it's accelerating. Hopefully with what Maha's doing and what we're doing to the food industry and the changes that are being made, I'm hoping that will start to come down, because 70% of liver disease is non-alcohol related. Everybody's heard of cirrhosis in the room? Cirrhosis, it's what alcoholics used to get. It's generally fatal, or you have to have a liver transplant. When we were kids, it was 6 to 10% of people with cirrhosis were non-drinkers. It was what alcoholics got. As of 2022, 51% of cirrhosis cases are non-alcohol. So that's no longer the boogeyman is alcohol. It's still blamed for it, but it's things like processed foods, pharmaceuticals, genetics, things like that, and the toxins we take in many forms. 1 in 3 Americans have MAFLD, rising to 9 out of 10 if they're obese. Almost half of patients with MAFLD are non-obese. So just because you can be thin, 50% of people with fatty liver disease are not obese. 55% of type 2 diabetes have MAFLD. I think that's actually closer to 70 now. 70% of patients with MAFLD have high lipid levels. Lipids are fats, or essentially cholesterol. So kind of an indicator of fatty liver can also potentially be high cholesterol as well. Even though, so everybody knows, 70% of your cholesterol is genetic. Only 30% of it's environmental, things we eat as well. And arguably, I think cholesterol is probably one of the most important molecules in the body. It's also your firefighters for inflammation. So sometimes if somebody has high cholesterol, we should be looking at what the root cause of that is, as opposed to just throwing them on a statin. Fatty liver disease at 27% is the second most common indication for liver transplantation. So everybody knows 50% of people that are on the liver transplant list don't make it. Because without a liver, we can't keep you alive without one. And half the people don't make it. Normal liver, right? Normal liver is soft, it's squishy, it's pliable. It'll actually grow by 40% after you have a big meal or in the day. So liver go 40% bigger, and then it'll come back. So the softer, the squishier, the happier your Chihuahua is. Steatosis, another word for fat, 15 to 40%. When you start to get above that level, you get into inflammation. And then with inflammation, you start to get fibrosis, which is scarring, because as it gets sluggish, it gets stiff, it starts to get inflamed, more inflammation. And that, so everybody knows, we get in this vicious circle where inflammation causes oxidative stress, and oxidative stress causes inflammation. So you can get the cycle as well. And then through that, you'll get collagen buildup, then you get into fibrosis, which is scarring, then you have cirrhosis. In between here is a condition called NASH, and that's non-alcoholic steatosis hepatitis, which basically means you've had so much fatty liver accumulate, so much collagen's got in there that you've now started to develop scarring. And that scarring, what happens is, if that scarring connects, so think of it like tree roots, right? And they connect, and it creates these little pockets. And these pockets are now basically starved of oxygen, of chi, of blood, and that they die. That's why a cirrhotic liver looks like it's got like leopard spots. That's dead tissue. So there is some cool stuff we're doing. We're working with some stem cell. Right now, cirrhosis, they say, is reversible. I say nay to that. I think we can reverse it, and I think stem cell therapy is part of that. If we can get stem cells into where that scarring is and those channels, we can open that back up, get blood, get oxygen, because your liver will heal, but you've got to have flow to it, right? You got to have energy, oxygen, blood, all those things. So some of the genetic factors. Before I go into the risk factors, let me talk a little more about liver so everybody knows. Most people associate it with this great detox engine. And it is. It's a fantastic detox engine. But it has so many more important aspects to it. If everybody's into longevity, the most important organ in your body for longevity is the liver. Skin and hair, most important organ, your liver. Healthy liver, healthy skin, healthy hair. The master of your immune system is your liver. Also, menopause, hormones. Most important organ in the body for women's health, for hormonal health, is the liver. We work with a lot of hormone doctors, and one of the protocols that we recommend, and they've recommended to us, is have your liver checked, get your liver into optimal function, then start the hormone therapy. Because if your liver's not in really good nick, you could have a lot of problems, could not be effective as well. Also, vitamins, minerals, nutrients. So, we're very much eating great is one of the most important things we can do. And as we eat, right, so we eat food, goes into the tummy, stomach breaks it up so it can be basically absorbed. The small intestine pulls all the proteins, minerals, vitamins out of everything we eat or drink, sends it to the liver. The liver stores, manages, and controls all the nutrients, vitamins that we consume, and then it distributes them through the body as needed. So if you want to be really healthy, you got to make sure your gut biome's in good shape, right? Am I getting good absorption? Because a lot of us take supplements and we might not be absorbing it because our gut biome's out of whack. Generally, that's antibiotics can completely destroy your gut biome. So gut biome's very important. That's the first step of taking in nutrition, but then your liver's managing and controlling it. Some of the risk factors of NAFLD. So metabolic syndrome and obesity, right? That can lead to high blood pressure, high lipids, high cholesterol. Too much triglycerides or too much fat in the bloodstream can get into the arterial walls, causes calcium, causes plaque, boom, strokes, heart attacks, all those things we want to avoid. Polypharmacy. So the use of drugs such as calcium, channel blockers, anti-inflammatories, steroids, cancer drugs, they're all metabolized by the liver, and in turn, they beat the liver up. Interesting example, British Liver Trust did a study. 1 dose of paracetamol, or Tylenol in the United States, or acetaminophen, does as much damage to your liver as 6 pints of beer. So if you've got a headache, I always say the first thing to do is drink a glass of water, because a lot of times that's our body telling us we're dehydrated. Drink some water. If that doesn't go away, try some other remedies. If you can't knock it out, ibuprofen's the better way to go. It's tough on the kidney, but it doesn't damage the liver. Acetaminophen actually dissolves liver tissue. So we began recently working with this poison control. right? In Colorado, they handle most of the western United States. Some of the biggest drug overdoses they have is teenagers trying to commit suicide potentially with too much Tylenol. And what happens there, they might do so much damage to their liver that we have to give a liver transplant. So we're seeing a lot of younger people needing liver transplants, and that's by excessive or abuse of Tylenol. Also, if you do, I mean, at the end of the day, if you've got a really bad headache, take a Tylenol, just drink some water and be careful, right? You gotta live a little bit in pain that nobody wants to deal with. So just some good food for thought for everybody on that as well. Alcohol acts synergistically with obesity to increase the risk of mortality and morbidity. Also important with pharmaceuticals that I do need to lay out. If you drink alcohol, okay, but do not drink alcohol at the same time that you're taking any kind of medication, because it's not 1 + 1 is 2, it's 1 + 1 is 10. So the damage can be compounding and multiplied. Can be factored upwards. Genetic factors, specific genes are associated with development of NAFLD. Specifically, South Asians have a much higher propensity, whereas the Caucasian, African, we would start looking for NAFLD or fatty liver disease with a BMI of 30. South Asians actually about 20. So skinny fat. They'll be thin, they look great, great diet, fatty liver disease, and they can't figure out why they're pre-diabetic. Also, Hispanic Americans are twice as likely to get fatty liver disease as a Caucasian. That's a genetic, but also cheap calories as well. The work we're doing also altruistically is to go into impoverished areas and scan them because they can't afford good food. They're eating cheap calories, high fructose corn syrup, pesticides, herbicides, you name it, up the yin-yang, they're getting fatty liver much quicker. Poor nutrition and limited no exercise, which increase risk of obesity and metabolic disease, so they feed into each other. Environmental toxins, contaminants, right here. So everybody thinks about it, toxicity comes in many ways. We've got physical toxicity that we can get from breathing, right? Fumes, chemicals in. You live in a city, you're gonna have all kinds of heavy metals. What we drink, right? One of the biggest pollutants in drinking water is actually pregnancy pills, anti-pregnancy medications, birth control. Because birth control does not get filtered out and reverse water purification. So I think that's why we're having a lot of weird, basically hormone disbalances, and it's coming on as well. But also lotions, right? What lotion are you putting on your skin? What deodorant are you putting? What sunscreen? What chemicals are we topically putting in? Because the skin is the largest organ, and it is, obviously it's external, but the skin also gets rid of toxins. It's one of our best detox engines, but it also absorbs as well. So what we're putting on your skin is just as important to what you're drinking or eating as well. So we have to be cognizant of that. Other risk factors, rapid weight loss, which we're seeing with GLP-1 patients, which is actually kind of scary. We're also seeing a rise in 900% higher chance of pancreatitis, people that are on GLP-1s. Some of us, including my colleague, is a liver and pancreatic surgeon, formerly at the Cleveland Clinic. He's now my chief medical officer. He's done thousands and thousands and thousands of pancreatic surgeries. We're also scared that there could be down the road, there could be a higher risk of pancreatic cancer. And pancreatic cancer, like liver cancer, you don't really have symptoms until you're stage 4. And if you're stage 4 pancreatic cancer, 4% chance of survival. So just things to think about what we're going through our lives. So advanced diagnostics. So the hero, right, is the liver, and the hero's under threat. We were just talking about all the threats. So the hero is being attacked, it's in peril, and we need to love it, we need to help it. And one of the ways that we can help it is through giving it light, showing what's happening with the liver, and that's through diagnostics. Generally, blood testing, most people in this room get a yearly blood test. One of the things they look on, that's called a liver panel. It's about 8 factors that we look at. Problem with a blood test is that's a lagging indicator. So if you get a blood test, it's going to show what was happening, not what's happening right now. And 80 to 90% of people with fatty liver disease does not show up on a blood test. And we noticed that because we were doing studies. And they were like, ooh, okay, we need to diagnose this and make people aware if they have fatty liver. So we looked at ultrasound. Ultrasound's very good if you're trying to look for a tumor or you're trying to pick up a cyst, and it does have its uses, but it's kind of old technology. MRI is fantastic, but MRI it's expensive, it's claustrophobic, it's time consuming, and also whoever's interpreting the MRI, that's really what it comes down to. Beware of a cheap MRI if they've got a Momo who's reading your results. You need somebody that's an expert. And specifically for the liver, you want to have it programmed to actually be looking very specifically at the liver. If not, you're going to miss a lot of things. CAT scan's not very effective. We use MRIs, but we use them more for confirmation. So if I'm worried about a tumor or a cyst or the liver's enlarged, then we would do an MRI. We found the best technology is called shear wave elastography. And that's if anybody's got a scan at our clinics or here at the show, it's called a FibroScan, is one of the brands that we use. Very cool technology. What it is go right here, we find a space between the ribs, and we shoot 10 pulses of vibration and frequency into the liver. And with that, we can measure the reverberation within the liver, how soft it is, how squishy it is, how much liver fat, what percentage of liver fat, is there any scarring, or is there any fibrosis? The results are immediate, and the software is so advanced that it's very difficult for operator error. It's considered the gold standard. We use it at Harvard, Cedars-Sinai, University of Texas has it. So that's the technology we really recommend. If you come by our booth, have a look. We're doing scans here, but come have a look at the technology even just to have a look. It's amazing. And that's the shear wave right there. So, and that takes about 10 minutes. And it's so safe that it's approved if you're pregnant, have a pacemaker, any kind of implant as well. 0 radiation. You could have one every day for the rest of your life, and you would have, like I said, it's just sound and vibration. Interesting technology, because the only thing it works on is the liver and cheese. It works on cheese, so which is interesting. So it's French, and the Laurent is this incredible inventor, and he invented about 20 years ago. And in the cheese industry in France, you're measuring fat in cheese and liquid as well, and they invented this device to shoot into a cheese to see if it was ready to sell and for aging, because if not, you used to have to cut the cheese open and you ruin the cheese. So they've taken this technology and they're like, it's not that effective for cheese. Maybe we can use it in medicine. And 20 years later, it is the gold standard globally to use fibrous skin. So healthy things we can do. Healthy lifestyle, right? Getting up and moving. Just when you eat, go walk for 5 minutes. Just get the blood going, the juices going. That's really, really going to help. Being mindful, exercising, loving yourself, being positive. We do a lot altruistically with cancer patients as well. And I always strive that the most important thing for health and healing is your mental state. Am I healthy? Am I a victim, or am I a warrior? Am I going to die, or am I going to live? That's the most important thing. That's 50% of health, is how we view ourselves and how we grasp that. The other 50% is the next most important thing is sleep. Most damaging thing you can do to your body is lack of sleep. Third is stress. Stress will kill you much quicker than smoking will. So get those 3 covered and you've got most of the battle. Then we go into nutrition and all the great technologies and infrared and all the things that we see here at the show. Obviously over here, bad, good, green vegetables. Protein's very good. Just eat clean, right? Just eat clean food. If you're vegetarian, cool. If you're vegan, cool. If you're carnivore, cool. Just eat clean. Avoid pesticides, herbicides, all that junk that's in there. So there's de-liver-ance. This is our product that we created. We spent 19 years of R&D. De-liver-ance, yeah. One of the reasons I didn't come up with the name, a man much more brilliant than me did, because the word deliverance is to set you free or to take you from evil to good. And that's what I've dedicated my life to, and we do at the Liver Clinic, is we take people from bad health to good health, and then we want to keep you there. So this product is basically 18 years of R&D, 17 plants. It was based off of traditional Korean and Chinese medicine, right? So we got 5,000 years of Kapia with Eastern medicine. So there's so much knowledge and information that we don't have in the West anymore. So I took that, then we took cutting-edge Western technology, right? So we're looking at cellularly, what are we doing? Bioavailability, how it's absorbed, nanoparticles, how do I get into the bloodstream? How do I cross the blood-brain barrier? So this product is the best that science has with traditional herbal medicine. Everything in the product is natural. Even the preservatives I use are from plants. So not one thing in there is not natural. That's de-liver-ance. As you say, it helps you maintain liver. I invite everybody that wants to come by the booth later, grab one, take it. Cool thing about it, there's a nootropic in it, and I put that in there to people that have brain fog because they have fatty liver disease to make them think clearly, but it ended up being so great that a lot of people take it just for the mental clarity. So when you take it, you drink it, 2 blood cycles will go by and you'll start to get mental clarity in 2 minutes. We're increasing neurotransmission in the brain, hence that's why you get the mental clarity. So there's an immediate effect. The short-term effect within weeks is skin's better, hair's better, sleep, lose a little weight, immune system, a lot of teenagers for hormonal imbalance and acne take it. And then long-term is obviously cholesterol gets into balance. We reverse fatty liver disease in 3 to 6 months. In fact, 4 or 5 of the speakers at this show had fatty liver disease and we cured it. They also didn't know they had it. They got it confirmed. We scanned them. We confirmed it. We put them on de-liver-ance and we've cured it. And if everybody heard Dave, I was very fortunate to be invited on Dave Asprey's podcast in December. Talked about liver health. And it was really cool because we scanned him, and I didn't know he was going to say this, but 2 of Dave's employees that had liver disease, we cured. One was from mold, right? Mold's a big, big problem, huge problem, and most people don't know what it's doing. And another had fatty liver disease. Both of them cured on the product, love it. So that's a little about the product. So other things that de-liver-ance does, helps to maintain optimal liver function. We don't just want to, none of us are in this room or here just because we want to be meteor, right? Mediocrity sucks, right? We want optimal health. We want to have great lifespan. We want to have great health span. We want to thrive, right? So we're focused on optimal liver function. And with optimal liver function, everything else follows. Aids the elimination of harmful toxins. It's very good. We don't advertise this, but if you've indulged in some alcohol and take it post, it'll actually get rid of it, metabolize it, clean the liver. If you've had anything toxic, post-chemotherapy, it's incredibly effective to remove all the damage from them and rebuild the system as well. Supports metabolism for optimal well-being. Antioxidants in it are incredibly high. And not only did I do a clinical study on the amount of antioxidants that are in it, we did an assay called an ABL-RAC, where we actually looked at cellularly what's happening after you've consumed it and after those antioxidants got into the bloodstream. Because it's like a lot of vitamins. Just because it's on the tin, you take it, doesn't mean you're absorbing it. We don't know what's happening afterwards, right? It's like a lot of turmeric. Unless you've got an alkaline or a pepper, you're not really absorbing it. It's just kind of going through you. So absorption, I'm obsessed with bioavailability and absorption. Enhances mental clarity, which we covered, supports the immune system as well. The antioxidant count and de-liver-ance is a thing called ORAC score. It's kind of a USDA, FDA scoring system that they use. Acai berry is like 100, piece of broccoli is 50, blueberry is like 100. Ours is 8,300 units. So the antioxidants are super high. We don't know this yet, but we are going to investigate this with a clinical study. We think we're getting into the mitochondria with the antioxidant activity. Hence, we're having some of this remarkable healing that we're doing. Here's one of the studies we did. This is crazy. So if you want to study fatty liver disease, this is a study we did at UCL, we're based in London. It's the top university in Europe for fatty liver disease. University College London, for anybody who doesn't know. And we use cloned rats because I think it's more accurate because they're all cloned, so the exact same genetics. Now, if you want to induce fatty liver disease, the actual name of the technique or the protocol is called the Western Standard Diet. Western Standard Diet, right? So here's control. This is somebody comes in, normal liver, put them under a Western Standard Diet. See all that white? That's fat. That is fat within the liver tissue, within the liver. They now have fatty liver disease. This is Western Standard Diet plus de-liver-ance. Look at that. Actually, as the control, and that is not fat, that's blood vessels. So we actually discovered in this, we're actually increasing blood flow into the liver. So that's another reason we're doing it as well. We also put ingredients in de-liver-ance that increases oxygenation to the blood. So when we formulated, I looked at the body holistically. So we're working on the kidneys, we're working on the spleen, we're working on oxidation in the blood flow, white blood cell count. You can do a live blood analysis. I don't know if anybody's done it, super cool. If anybody has it, you take a drop of your blood, put it under a microscope, put it on a screen, and at 50,000x, you can see everything that's happening in your blood live. See the white blood cells moving around, red blood cells, you can see parasites, you can see cholesterol. It's fascinating if anybody hasn't done it. But we've done it with de-liver-ance, and you've seen the white blood cell count and the blood flow increases. So we've looked at it from that. That's the level of science that we go into. That's just on HDL as well. So we've see the cluster, so control, Western Standard Diet, right? And then that's with de-liver-ance. So we increase HDL. So everybody knows the cholesterol. LDL is the bad one, HDL is the good one, and triglycerides are the really fatty ones, I think, that cause the most problems. So to get a true cholesterol score is you look at your LDL and HDL, and they offset each other. So we want higher HDL because that offsets. And HDL acts as a transport mechanism between the cells and the liver and the blood, moving the cholesterol around. So we've seen a lot of people take de-liver-ance just for the cholesterol aspect of it. There's that. So now we'll do some Q&A. That's our logo, and our designers in Mallorca, amazing Spaniard. He took all 17 of the ingredients, the botanicals, and he put it into the shape of a liver. So if anybody, we call it the liver bush, but that's essentially what it is. Q&A. And I love a good quote, and it says, "The most mighty hath created medicines out of the earth, and a wise man will not abhor them." So it's one of the things we live by as well. So thank you very much, and now we do Q&A. Yes, ma'am?
Like the most extreme cases, we have a case at home that she's on a list for liver transplant. Would your product help her while she's waiting? I don't believe that
So,
deliver all of your
so
stuff.
we don't think we can. What we can do is we think we can increase the liver function to the point to where our goal is to at least get you to the transplant, and we can do that by increasing what liver is functioning better as well. If you'd like to come by, so Dr. Gareth, who is a liver transplant expert at Cleveland Clinic, he's at my booth. He's sitting in the back right now, just looking at me and judging and making funny faces. But if you want to chat with him as well, but we should be able to help and at least to improve their function. Okay. Jesus.
Really sad, and I thought maybe
Yeah.
this product would help.
Well, we would love to help. Yeah, and it's very good because Dr. Gareth is in Cleveland. He's Welsh. He was with NHS, Cleveland Clinic poached him, took him to Cleveland Clinic. He's there. He's now left and joined the good guys, which is preventative medicine. So now we prevent people from seeing him. Yeah, as well. So what, yes, ma'am?
Any contraindications with any medications?
None that we know of. Standard warning, if you're pregnant, consult with your physician first. We've done over 1 million bottles of it. We don't know of any. The adverse reactions are like 1 in 100,000, and generally it's because of something else as well.
Where is your scan thing located?
We're booth 400. We're right next to StemRegen. We have 2 scanners there. We got a whole medical team as well, so we're doing the scans throughout the show. Let me just pop to here and then over. Better?
Yes, I was curious if you have done or if you're going to do any research with estrogen metabolism. I work with women all the time. The Dutch does see horrific, estrogen metabolism and 4:16 ratios. Have you done any research there? Are you going to?
We haven't. I'd say probably a third of our people that take deliverance are perimenopausal and menopausal. And we've seen if they had low estrogen, it's popped up, and high progesterone. So we tend to, because the liver's functioning really well, it brings it into balance.
Right.
So we have not done a study on it, but we do have a lot of anecdotal evidence and a lot of people as well. But I'll add that to the list. And Gareth's nodding his head, so I guess we are going to do a study on that. Yeah, perfect. Yes, ma'am?
Talk about the synergistic effects of all these botanicals, assuming that some of them are rare, that it's individual parts together.
Correct, yeah. So I've had herbalists or Chinese medicine doctors look at the ingredients and they're like, that's not good for the liver, right? Or that's not used or known for liver. So I look at the body holistically, right? The body is this incredible organism that has all kinds of things and all kinds of organs. So I formulated off of those principles. So we're affecting the spleen and oxidation, like I was saying, bile reaction, bile ducts, what's happening in the biliary as well. So sometimes, like milk thistle is a great herb to take as just kind of a basic for liver, but it doesn't play well with other herbs. So if you mix it, you can actually have a toxicity. In parts of Europe, you actually are not allowed to mix milk thistle with other herbs. So that's why we don't use it. But the reason it took 18 years and how I formulate is we formulate, we do a study, we come back, we adjust the formula, we do a study, and we were bespoking it. And I took one, I'm like, oh wow, if we reduce this much liver fat, let's just add more choline and a little more kudzu, whole formula collapsed. So we're refining it back and forth to do that. And like a great symphony, right? A lovely symphony or a lovely piece of music is not the cello or even the conductor or the violin or whatever. It's everything together coming into synchronization to create something beautiful, like the human body, like a great piece of music, like a great meal, right? Like a great family. And we do that with formulating as well. Yes, ma'am?
If one has a high steatocrit, or maybe even a relatively new high steatocrit, does that necessarily mean they have fatty liver?
Not necessarily. It could be a good indicator that it does, though. Yeah. Yes.
So I'm healing from long-term mold exposure, and so every detox protocol that I've ever tried, even in the most minute of doses, completely wrecks me. So how would someone like me that's extremely sensitive react to this?
Well, I'll give you a bottle today. Try it. If you feel really good, and then we can talk about maybe we can do a before and after test, and we can do it. I've also got some colleagues. I was just talking about mold before I came in here. One of the big drivers out there is mold, but most people don't know about it. The testing sucks, right? An old petri dish. And there's a company that's actually coming up with a pretty cool protocol to be able to do more of the testing. So mold's a big driver. There's a great colleague of mine who I actually treated his liver and his parents' liver, Dr. Kim. He's a speaker at a lot of the events. He's like Mr. Mold. Yeah, he's fantastic. Really cool guy too. And he got it exposed at his parents' house in New Jersey, had a lot of mold. He grew up with it, massive mold exposure. Funny enough, his parents still live in the house. He can't get them out of the house. I told him if he took his parents on vacation, maybe we could burn the house down, but he won't do it. But anyway, talk to Dr. Kim. He's fantastic. Yes, sir.
How can your product help with high iron concentration?
Like hemochromatosis?
Yes.
Okay, so if the liver's functioning really well, it should start to pull those out as well. The severity of it, we'd have to go into. Dr. Gareth would probably be better to go into that. What do you think, Dr. G?
Yeah, we've had some success with hemochromatosis. It certainly stabilizes this disease. We've had a couple of who progressed towards transplants who seem to stabilize, and a couple who fall back to a couple of degrees of fibrosis. So individual, and also it's a lot depends on the genetic component of
Yes, sir.
The average, say, vibro test score knocks down by what percent within, say, 2 months?
You mean with deliverance?
Yes.
We test again at 90 days. We used to do it at 6 months, but we realized that a lot of our patients we were getting from stage 2, stage 3, and 3, so we're testing as soon as 3 months. We're about 93% of patients with fatty liver disease, we're getting down to the green within 6 months. Yeah, and New York Times even did a piece on us, and they went and fact-checked, as New York Times does, really heavily, and they were very happy with it. Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
How's the synergy with this and red light therapy?
So red light therapy, I'm a big fan of it. I think the infrared aspect, depending on the infrared, because you know how deep it's going, the frequency that it's using, et cetera. I think it's very useful. There's Sarah Thrive, who's a friend and colleague. She's got one. Actually, we're going to do a clinical putting it on the liver, and I'm going to measure what that's doing for the liver. We personally, my wife and I, we use red light therapy before bed. Good thing when we're talking about sleep, one of the most important things that everybody in this room can do for sleep is do not have your phone in the bedroom. Turn it off, airplane mode, out of the bedroom. Because even if it's on airplane mode, it's still signaling. That's going to disrupt your sleep, and in a bag even. And 2 hours before, no blue light for 2 hours before as well. And then for me, we put the infrared, we have one of those like the small ones by the bed, read a book, your HRV, your sleep, everything just goes really good. So I'm a big fan of infrared. Yeah. Yeah. Anybody? Yes, sir.
How does the product affect elevated cholesterol levels and triglycerides at a high level in my familial history?
So cholesterol takes a little longer, closer to 6 months, but on that slide, so HDL will go up dramatically, which is good. That'll help to bring LDL down. And when you get into good balance, you should see triglycerides. We see about 80% decrease in excessive triglycerides in a cholesteremic patient. A lot of people take deliverance, but not for years, and that's because it's a good foundational supplement because you don't need a statin, or you can come off of call them statin hesitant, you can come off of a statin, it'll keep your cholesterol, your liver fat in check. And I always say with preventative health, time up? Sorry. Okay, one more question.
Gilbert syndrome.
Oh, that Dr. G question. Shut afterwards.
As it relates to like headache medicine,
Yeah.
with alcohol, is there like a timeline that your liver regenerates? You had touched briefly on that. You said it was like 10xing, right? If you mix the two.
Yeah, cause a lot of damage.
Like if you take it the next day, or
I would within several hours. So when you drink alcohol, it takes about 35 minutes to metabolize it. That's why people, if they take a shot, that's why shots can be dangerous. You take a shot, you're like, oh, I'm not really feeling it. Like 15 minutes later, you take another one. It takes 35 minutes to metabolize, and then you get hit with them at the same time. Yeah. So I would say most of the alcohol will be metabolized in the first hour, really. So try to take it a little later. But if you do, take like a de-liver-ance or a milk thistle or a glass of water.
So the next day is fine.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, remember, the liver is constant regenerating. You can beat the crap out of 90% of it, it'll come back. That's why we got to protect it and take care of it. So we don't want to be running around all terrified of a Tylenol. Just try to use it sparingly. It's like anything, right? It's like if you really want to have a drink, like a glass of wine, have one, right? Sometimes the stress of not having the glass of wine or not eating the donut could cause you more damage. So just be realistic. And as the Dalai Lama said, we're having a human experience. Live life, have some fun, get some sleep, don't stress, take care of your liver because it's taking care of you. Thank you very much.